Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Jonathan. Today I'm bringing you a video talking about my third year in the Air Force anniversary. If you've been following my channel for a really long time, then you would know that I have been in since February 2017. It is now February 2020, which means I have 1 year left in the military. That is absolutely insane to think about. If I could give an example of what it's been like, it was kind of like high school, right? Like you join, you're a freshman, you have no idea what's going on. Then time just starts flying. Sophomore year, junior year, senior year, and now we're here. So honestly, it has been an amazing experience. I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I'm not gonna like try to, it's been an awesome experience. It has given me and my wife possibilities that we never really thought were possible in 2016 or at the beginning of 2017 before we were here. Now, I will be very honest and say that living in Illinois, it's been iffy. We've had a lot of good experiences in Illinois. I have a lot of family here, but it's also the Midwest, and I particularly don't like the Midwest. I'm a West Coast kind of guy. I mean, I'm from Colorado. It's not necessarily super West Coast, but it's in that region of the United States. The Midwest kind of lacks in food and in other places where other areas don't. So there are definitely pros and cons, and I will say this just to kind of set forward something that you understand before you join the military, or if you're already in the military and you're having a bad experience, whatever the case may be, everyone has a different experience. Every single job is different, every single one of them. Even if you're in the same squadron, your day-to-day can be completely different than somebody else's. The jobs that I do as a 3DOX2, as working as a platform engineer right now, are completely different than, someone who works as a cyber surety in the security office in the same squadron as me. We do completely different things. We have different leadership. We have different supervisors. Although we have the same commander, they're on a different PT schedule than we're on. So their day-to-day is completely different, and it ultimately will affect your life day-to-day. And I have been very lucky to have amazing leadership the whole entire time, amazing commanders the whole entire time, which ties into leadership, but I kind of look at them differently. When I say leadership, I'm talking about your first line supervisors. I'm talking about staff sergeants that you talk to every single day, master sergeants who you see every single day, because you don't always see your commander. Hopefully you see your first sergeant a lot, but you don't always see the higher up leadership. I'm talking about the main leadership. So one of the biggest parts of my life and being in the Air Force and stuff is working out. I mean, we've been doing it regularly since BMT. We do it, I do it every day. I mean, we do it like 3 times a week, every single week. We've done that ever since I got to this base. And it's constantly changing. And I'm not talking about the PT test here, but it's constantly changing. And this is kind of a pro or con thing for me. After, I've been in for 3 years, I've done it for so long. It always changes because the person who's running PT does work, they pick the workouts that you do. And if they don't know what they're doing, you can have really bad workouts. And there were 6-month, 8-month gaps where we had PTLs, those are PT leaders or whatever, and they come up with the workouts and they were terrible. They were terrible, terrible, terrible. They had really bad workouts that didn't make any sense, just things that like you wouldn't do, or you would do them, but you would do them in a weird order where they would contradict certain muscle groups and like all types of stuff like that. And it was not healthy, it was not good. But then you have amazing PTLs. You have PTLs who are super into fitness. They understand, muscle growth, and they understand like strength training and all types of things like that. And so then you would have really good PT sessions for a year or 8 months or 6 months or whatever the case may be. So honestly, that's something that is like probably besides doing the actual work and dealing with the people day in and day out, PT is literally one of the biggest things. Like we get out of work early to go do PT. We do PT as a squadron, like we do a ton of PT. It's something that you really want to embrace. Working out is just part of the military. Luckily, the Air Force has it, I guess, the least hardest in terms of like the Marines and the Navy and stuff like that. But we work out a lot. And so if it's not something you're into, I never was really the type of person before I joined to kind of get into working out or anything like that. But now that I'm 3 years in, I've been working out regularly for like almost 2 years, a year and a half. And honestly, I mean, besides the normal PT session workouts that are like mandatory, it's definitely made me a healthier person mentally, not only physically. because I don't know, it helps me get my day started right. So obviously this is kind of rambly, but this is something that has been a huge impact for me in my Air Force journey. And yeah, so one thing that's been absolutely amazing for me while I've been in has been time off. I work a basic 9-to-5 job essentially. Ever since I've been in, I've never really had to work any shift schedules or work nights or work days or swings or whatever they're called, because I don't know, our squadron does do that. We have a portion of our squadron that does do that, but I fortunately never got picked for that. I'm very thankful for that, but it's been awesome. Like you guys know, I'm a graphic designer. I do a ton of things outside of the Air Force and making videos and whatever. Like I constantly am working on projects. I'm constantly doing something, right? And it gives me so much time to be able to do that. It's given me so much time to be able to prepare myself for when I do get out. I have a portfolio set up. I have a good resume set up. I have connections and networking, whatever the case may be. So obviously this is gonna tie into, you know, everyone has a different Air Force journey, because if you are constantly gone, constantly deployed, you're security forces and you're working the gates on a shift schedule, you're gonna have a very different experience than I am. You're still gonna get time off. Everyone pretty much has the same time off essentially. Like at some point or another, you're gonna get time off from work. You're gonna have 2 days off essentially, like for the weekend. Now there are some jobs where that isn't the case, but I think for most jobs, even people who have to work, like it's mandatory that you have to work on weekends or whatever the case may be, you typically get comp time later in the week. So it's possible. I'm just saying that it's been amazing doing it in my life, because it's very standard. It's very, at the end of the day, wife gets off of work, we spend time together, it's awesome. I have the weekends off, hang out with friends, whatever the case may be. So that portion has been absolutely amazing. I've made a video about this before. One thing that I guess isn't the best that I have experienced while being in is constantly changing. And this is something that I've talked about extensively, about how you have to be adaptive. You have to adapt to situations. Some things are getting changed, some things, you know, things are always getting shifted around. And so like I never really wanted to be a platform engineer. I never really wanted to go to that office. I didn't necessarily want to work with programmers because I was comfortable being a server administrator, but I ended up getting moved over there anyways, because obviously leadership makes those decisions. We don't really have an option. And you just kind of have to work with it. And obviously I am adaptive. I've been able to do that. I'm very appreciative for the people that I've met and the things that I've done. It's given me a lot more time doing that job than the time that I had before that. However, it's frustrating. Sometimes it's very frustrating to get moved around and be like, guys, like, you know, sometimes you kind of feel like a chess piece, in all honesty. And it's not the most fun all the time to be out of control. However, for the people who do want to stay in a long period of time, you eventually will be able to make those decisions. And although you are, you know, facing higher ups, and there's always going to be leadership above you, because that's how the chain of command works, you still, as you rank up, will be given more responsibility to make decisions for, you know, supervisors and workers underneath you. So, I mean, as long as you're adaptive and all things like that, you should be fine. Obviously, if you are staying in a long period of time, that's something you get to look forward to. And if you aren't staying in like me, then it's just something you have to learn to deal with. It's not that big of a deal. However, I'm just letting you guys know that in my 3 years that I've been in, that's probably been one of the most frustrating things that I can think right off the top of my head, that I've just kind of dealt with through it. One thing, I'm just trying to go over in my head about like good things and bad things, but one thing that has not been the most fun. I don't want to speak negatively in the Air Force or anything crazy like that, but one thing is that we have a lot of events. There's tons of events, whether it's quarterly awards. I don't even know the name of them, but basically there's events all over the base all the time, and some of them are mandatory, like quarterly awards, annual awards, like staff sergeant release parties, master sergeant release parties, all those things alike. The release parties are kind of iffy. They're not as mandatory. They're more so mandatory if somebody in your squadron is going to get promoted or whatever the case may be, but it takes away time from work. Or sometimes you're gonna be like, oh yeah, like we're off at 2:30 for PT, let's go, we're gonna get a good workout, whatever. And then they're like, nope, just kidding, no PT today, guys, we're gonna stay till 3:30 or 4 o'clock at this event. And it's like, because then you have to drive to the event center, you have to park with all the other cars, and there's like 100 or 150 cars, and so traffic is kind of crazy getting out there sometimes too. So this is obviously just a stupid little like annoyance, I guess. It's not that big of a deal, but That is just kind of a con that I have noticed in the past 3 years that I've been in. However, there is also a pro to that too. We do have a lot of events, like I said before, but some of them are awesome. Like we have tons of wind down days, that's what we call it, where once a month on like a Friday, we will just get together in civilian clothes for like a half day of work essentially, and somebody will barbecue or we'll go out somewhere, whatever the case may be, and then we just kind of chill for a little while and we're done for work. They do this at tech school too. There's down Fridays. It's not like a wind down day in that sense of the event, but you have down Fridays every other Friday, and so you basically just have a half day of work. You don't go to the schoolhouse or anything, and it just kind of gives you time to decompress and stuff. So it's been awesome to do that because we're paid on salary basis, right? So if you get a short week or a family day or whatever the case may be, you have wind down day, like you're getting paid to work less. And so I don't know, it's just awesome. It's awesome. Last thing I want to say is probably the best part of the past 3 years, aside from like work and the events and whatever the case may be, the best part has been meeting the people. Now, obviously, not everyone you meet in your life you're going to get along with, but the people that you do get along with, the friends that you do make, whether it's at BMT, tech school, your first base, second, third, fourth, fifth base, deployment, TDY, whatever the case may be, once you make those friends, like nothing can compare to that. Nothing can compare to, like, being in Illinois, we don't know anyone here, right? We don't know anyone in St. Louis. We don't know anybody, 30 miles away, 50 miles away aside from family. But like, you don't have the homies that you had back home, right? And so once you make friends, once you get to know the people who you work with and you find cool people that you can hang out with and you kind of develop a little group, that is probably the best thing ever because it makes time go by faster. You can joke around with your friends all day while you work. And honestly, that has definitely been the best part that I can probably pick up from the past 3 years, aside from like technical work and stuff like that. The funnest part has definitely, going into your friend's office who you used to work with and joking around for like 10 minutes, and then going back to work. Like, something about that is just it's communicative and I don't know, it's just awesome. So that's definitely probably been the best part of the past 3 years. Obviously, I'm gonna make another one of these in a year from now when I'm not in the military anymore. I am still working on getting CSP and everything set up, but I will hit you guys again with another one of these videos in a year. Obviously, I'm going to keep uploading until then. So if you have any video recommendations and you made it this far, drop it down below in the comments because I want to know what kind of videos you guys want to see because I want to pump out more videos. However, I have made so many videos about the Air Force. I'm kind of exhausted in the fact of not making the videos, but I'm exhausted in ideas. And so whenever you guys give me ideas about videos to make, I write it down literally on my phone and I'm like, okay, I can make a video and take some notes on it, whatever the case may be. So let me know what you want to see down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, then leave a like down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you can be notified when I do upload. If you have any questions about the Air Force or anything at all about my life, leave it down below. Thank you so much for watching again and have an amazing day. Peace out.